Hello and welcome to today's episode. In this episode, we will discuss in detail about the social responsibility of business factors for growing concern for social responsibility among businessmen, case for and against social responsibility, limits of social responsibility, and nature of social obligation towards different interest groups. In addition to it, the concept of social audit will also be discussed. I am Garima Surana and the subject expert of this episode is Dr. Arshia Hussain, a specialized in business management and teaching in the Center for Management Studies, Jamia Millia Islamia University, New Delhi. Let us start this episode with the meaning of social responsibility of business. Every business enterprise makes use of the resources of society and depends largely on society for its functioning. Business organizations are, therefore, expected to contribute to the betterment of society. Managers are no longer considered to have responsibility only to the owners. Rather, managers are increasingly held accountable for the social effects of their actions. The business should be socially responsible to the society in the sense that the business enterprise should discharge its duties and responsibilities in enhancing the welfare of the society of which it is an integral part. The term social responsibility is widely used in the literature of sociology, anthropology, economics, politics, and business management. The concept of social responsibility is based on the principle of reciprocity. It means that there is reciprocity between society and the business. The business uses resources of the society necessary for its existence. In turn, the business provides desired goods and services to the society. In other words, it may be defined as the obligation to consider the interest of society while performing its economic function. Some people view social responsibility as the philanthropic and charitable activities to promote education, health, employment, rural development, and other social causes. In fact, social responsibility implied responsibility to society beyond the basic economic responsibility of efficiency and profitability. As an economic agent of society, a business enterprise must use its economic power to protect and promote public interest and social values. However, social responsibility is defined by various authors. According to Drucker, social responsibility requires managers to consider whether their action is likely to promote the public good, to advance the basic beliefs of our society, to contribute to its stability, strength, and harmony. According to Keith Davis, social responsibility is the obligation of the decision makers to take decisions which protect and improve the welfare of the society as a whole along with their own interest. Every manager owes an obligation to make the public good the private good of the enterprise. According to Andrews, by social responsibility, we mean the intelligent and objective concern for the welfare of the society that restrains individual and corporate behavior from ultimately destructive activities, no matter how immediately profitable, and leads in the direction of positive contribution to human betterment, variously as the latter may be defined. There are various factors that have led to the increasing concern for socially responsible business behavior. Some of the reasons are consumerism, trade unionism, public opinion, enlightened self-interest, professionalization, trusteeship. Consumerism. The increasing awareness of consumers about their rights, establishment of consumer groups, and consumer protection laws have forced the business organizations to take care of the interest of consumers. Trade unionism. Trade unions and labor laws have become strong and powerful, leading business organizations to take care of labor welfare. Public opinion. Public opinion and the threat of government control have made entrepreneurs realize that responsible action is essential for the preservation of free enterprise. Enlightened self-interest. Growing education among the people of society has led entrepreneurs to be concerned with the quality of life. Entrepreneurs have now recognized that business is a reflection of social objectives and values and an agency for the promotion of their business. Professionalization. The professionalization of management from ownership has forced managers to take a long-term and more responsible view of their role. The scope of social responsibilities of business is very wide. The management of a business enterprise is responsible to the inside group consisting of shareholders and employees, and the outside group comprising customer, suppliers, government, and the community in general. These internal and external responsibilities of business are responsibility towards shareholders. The responsibility of a company to its shareholders, who are the owners, is indeed the primary one. The responsibilities towards shareholders are to provide steady appreciation of investment and to provide regular, accurate, and full information about the working and the progress of company. Responsibility towards employees. The success of an organization depends to a very large extent on the morale of the employees and their wholehearted cooperation. Employee morale depends to a large extent on the discharge of the company's responsibilities to them and the employer-employee relationship. The responsibility of the business towards its employees are to provide fair wages and salaries, to provide good and safe working conditions, to provide adequate service benefits such as housing, medical facilities, insurance cover, retirement benefits, to provide proper recognition of workers' rights, to form trade union, to collective bargaining and strike, to provide opportunities for education, training and promotion, and to encourage workers' participation in decision-making. Responsibility to customers. According to Peter Drucker, there is only one valid definition of business purpose: to create a customer. Drucker observes the customer is the foundation of a business and it keeps it in existence. He alone gives employment. To supply the wants and needs of a consumer, society entrusts wealth-producing resources to the business enterprise. The responsibilities of the business to the consumers are to provide regular supply of right quality goods at the right time and right place, to charge reasonable price, to supply goods that meet the needs of different classes and tastes with different purchasing power, provision of prompt, adequate and continuous services, to provide prompt redressal of customers' grievances, to provide true and fair information through advertisements, and to avoid unfair and unethical practices like adulteration, hoarding, and black marketing. Responsibility towards government. The responsibilities towards government are to abide by laws of land, to pay taxes honestly and in time, to avoid corrupting public servants, to encourage fair trade practices, and to avoid monopoly and concentration of economic power. Responsibility towards community. A business has a lot of responsibility to the community around its location and to the society at large. The responsibilities towards community include to make the best possible use of the society's resources, taking steps to conserve scarce resources and developing alternatives, to provide maximum possible employment opportunities, to keep the environment healthy and free from all types of pollution, to contribute to the development of the weaker sections of society, to refrain from indulging in antisocial and unethical practices, and to improve public health, education, and cultural life of the community. Making possible contribution to furthering social causes like the promotion of education and population control. Social responsibility of a business is determined by its environment in which it exists. In India, few organizations are quite conscious about their social roles and have made significant contributions to the economic and social well-being of the country. These organizations include Tisco, BHEL, Cadbury India, Reliance Industries, Tata, and so on. A few leading business houses, but instances of adulteration, hoarding, black marketing, exploitation of workers, tax evasion, and other anti-social practices are very common. In order to ensure freedom of enterprise, businessmen need to be more responsible towards the society. The government industrial policy states that if industry acquires an increasing sense of social responsibility, government can concentrate more on measures to help industry rather than to control it. In a mixed economic like ours, social responsibilities of business assume special significance. The main features of social responsibilities of Indian business are: first, the major responsibility of every business is to make efficient use of national resource, both human and non-human, so as to raise the level of national income and standard of living of the people. Second, the business organization must accept the challenge of creating more and more employment opportunities for engineers, technicians, and other skilled persons from educational institutions. Third, the management of the business should take appropriate steps to protect the national environment and preserve the ecological balance from all types of pollution. The business must ensure that their production process or usage of their products does not cause any pollution. Fourth, a business enterprise, while deciding its location, must ensure regional development in the country. A business should contribute to the economic development of the backward areas and weaker sections of society. Fifth, a business enterprise should recognize and respect social values, business ethics, and cultural heritage. Sixth, a business enterprise should cooperate with the government in solving problems like communalism, illiteracy, overpopulation, concentration of income and wealth, monopoly, etc. Seventh, a business enterprise should make efforts to make the country economically self-reliant through promotion of exports and import substitution. Eighth, a business enterprise should have fair business practices. The following strategies may be adopted by the Indian business to discharge its social responsibilities. First, legislative measures. The Companies Act may be amended to make the following provisions. Social Responsibilities Clause to be specified by every big company in its Memorandum of Association. Representation of social groups on the Board of Directors and Annual General Meeting of a company. Social audit to judge the contribution of a company towards social welfare. Second, voluntary measures. Law alone cannot make businessmen socially responsible. The following voluntary measures may also be adopted for this purpose. Shareholders should form their association to exercise effective control over company managements. Consumers should form their associations to force businessmen discharge their obligations. Trade associations and chambers of commerce should exercise effective control to prevent anti-social practices among businessmen. Business enterprises should develop an organizational culture conducive to the assumption and discharging of social responsibilities. The rationale for assuming social responsibility lies in the following arguments. First, public expectations. There is a clear belief among public that business has a clear obligation to the good of the society. No businessman wants to make his customers angry. Therefore, a business happily accepts the social responsibility. Second, coalition. A business organization is a coalition of several interest groups such as shareholders, customers, employee suppliers, and so on. Therefore, business should work for the interest of all the groups rather than just for the benefit of shareholders alone. Third, creation of society. Business, being a subsystem of society, draws support and sustenance from society in the form of inputs. The relationship between business and society can be sustained by accepting the socially responsible behavior. Fourth, social impact. During the course of its functioning, a business enterprise makes several decisions and actions. Its activities exercise a strong influence on the interests and values of society. Business must fulfill social obligations as a compensation for undermining the legitimate interests of society. Fifth, long-run viability. The long-run viability of the organization depends on accepting social responsibility. If an organization fails to meet its social obligations, the other groups will undertake the responsibility and also the power that goes with it. Sixth, balance of responsibility and power. Social responsibility and social power must be balanced to avoid misuse of power. Big business houses have gained great social power through their various operations. But in the absence of social responsibility, this social power may be misused. Therefore, a balance must be maintained between social power and social responsibility. The responsibility of a business grows with its growing power. Therefore, their social responsibility should be equally great. Seventh, leadership. Business organizations and their managers have proved their competence and leadership in solving economic problems. Society expects them to use their competence to solve social problems and thereby play a leadership role. Eighth, avoidance of government regulation. If business does not voluntarily assume social responsibilities, government will force it to do so through regulation and control. Failure to discharge responsibility will result in the death of private enterprise. Thus, it makes sense to behave in a socially responsible manner. Ninth, professional conduct. Managers are required to show their professional conduct by displaying sensitivity and serve the society as a whole. Social responsibility is one of the professional demands on managers. 10th, favorable public image. Adoption of social responsibility programs creates a favorable public image. A good public image is a valuable asset for business. The critics of the social responsibility concept put forward the following arguments. First, vague concept. The critics argued that the concept of social responsibility is vague and is subject to different interpretations. There is no unanimity, consensus in meaning and scope of social responsibility. In such a situation, it would be futile as well as risky to accept social responsibility. Second, dilution of goals. Business is an economic institution and has the basic responsibility of maximizing profits for its owners. But the pursuit of social goals may dilute the economic productivity of the business. Third, cost. If a business spends money on socially responsible projects, then the cost of doing business would increase. These costs will be passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices or will have to be borne by owners, and the firm may lose its business. Fourth, lack of skill. Business organizations are not familiar with social affairs. Their managers are not trained and competent than specialist social service organizations such as government, which can better deal with social problems. Thus, many businessmen's social responsibility decisions are inefficiently made. Fifth, responsibility without power. Business organizations enjoy only economic power and no social power. Therefore, it is unfair to impose social responsibilities without power. Sixth, lack of accountability. A business is accountable for all economic decisions, but it cannot be held accountable for the effects of its social programs. Seventh, diversion of responsibilities. Accepting the social responsibility by the business will involve diversion of managerial time and efforts on social action programs. It may therefore result in misdirection of valuable corporate resources. Eighth, improper role. The proper role of business is to use its resources and channelize it efficiently so as to yield the best possible return on investment within the limits of laws and ethics. Business should concentrate on economic performance, leaving social service to other organizations. Ninth, overburdened with responsibility. A business enterprise is already serving the society by providing goods and services, creating employment opportunities, developing technology, and contributing to public exchequer through tax payments. It would be unfair to overburden them with further responsibilities. Managers must clearly recognize and understand the inevitable constraints on the acceptance of social responsibility. According to Peter F. Drucker, the degree of social responsibility is limited by the following constraints. First, while assuming social responsibility, a business enterprise must ensure its profitability and viability. A losing or a non-viable enterprise cannot discharge its social responsibilities successfully. Socially responsible behavior should not endanger the economic survival. This does not imply that the enterprise should be allowed to earn profits at the cost of the society. A proper balance should be maintained between social responsibility and economic viability. Second, in the pursuit of social responsibilities, management should confine itself to the areas of its competence. If managers try to deal with social action programs in which they lack competence, serious damage may be caused to their organizations. Third, socially responsible behavior should be confined to the areas in which management has legitimate authority. Otherwise, social action may result in usurpation of authority. Indiscriminate social responsibility may amount to undue corporate authority unacceptable to society. Business management should not encroach upon the authority of government and other social institutions. Fourth, social responsibility should be balanced with the socio-economic power of business. A large enterprise or an enterprise supplying drugs, for example, has a greater responsibility than a small enterprise or an enterprise supplying ball pens. Fifth, the concept of social responsibility is reciprocal. Just as business owes responsibility to various interest groups, these groups owe responsibility to support and assist business. Sixth, before undertaking any social action program, management should conduct a social cost-benefit analysis. There is no use carrying out programs whose social costs exceed social benefits. Social audit is a concept introduced to measure the effectiveness of social performance of companies. Social audit concept is gaining increasing attention. According to Professor George A. Steiner, social audit is defined as a report of social performance in contrast to the financial report, which is concerned with economic performance. It is an attempt to identify, measure, evaluate, report, and monitor the effects of a business enterprise exercises on society or certain segments of the society that are not covered by the traditional financial reports. Benefits. The advantages of using social audit are: first, it helps to encourage cost-benefit analysis of corporate programs for the benefit of society. Second, social audit provides a means for measuring business firms' social performance. It could also serve as a means for measuring social benefits of a social program. Third, social audit programs provides information to management. It helps both investors and social activists to evaluate the overall record of a firm's social involvement. Limitations. Some companies have introduced social audit to measure the effectiveness of their social performance. However, developing an effective social audit is difficult as there are no clear standard exists as to the activities to be included in the measurement process, and there are no uniform standards for measuring results. Data collection about the impact of social problems may also be a problem. There is another problem of a social performance report. There is no unanimity over the issue whether such a report should be revealed to the public or not. It is believed that such reports will not satisfy the general public and may lead to social conflict as these reports are too imprecise and inconcrete. Another problem of social audit is the problem of monitoring, which involves a follow-up operation. Social report may include the performance of an organization in community relations, consumer relations, investor relations, labor relations, pollution control, etc. According to the HR committee, the following information may be included in the social report. Amount spent on social development. Employment provided to public from scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, handicapped, minority community and other weaker sections of society. Amount spent on pollution control. Contributions to national relief funds to be used during natural calamities. Amount spent on public health, adult literacy, population control, etc. Expenditure on cost reduction and product improvement measures. Contribution to import substitution and exports promotion. In India, some well-established companies have adopted social audit program. For example, the Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited has been arranging an independent audit of its performance by a panel of eminent persons in public life. Let us quickly summarize what we have learned in this episode. In this episode, we discussed about concept of social responsibility of business in detail. Social responsibility means responsibility to society beyond the basic economic responsibility of efficiency and profitability. As an economic agent of society, a business enterprise must use its economic power to protect and promote public interest and social values. In addition to this, the responsibilities towards various groups of societies such as shareholders, customers, employees, and government were also discussed. A debate on social responsibility concept, degree of social responsibility, limits of social responsibility, and finally, social audit were also discussed in the episode. That is all for today. We will meet in the next episode. Goodbye.